You talk about Hugos, like, you know, I mean, I think you're being very kind, but I was a crazy fucker back then. I don't know if I want people to look up to me, but, you know, I was also wasn't equipped with the right skills to manage 30 people. I didn't have enough experience to do that, and so back then I just thought that the rock and roll was kind of it.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode. This episode is with Massimo Mele. I actually travelled down to Tasmania to meet him, and it was such a joy to catch up after so many years, sharing old memories and stories. In between all the laughs, you can really hear his philosophy, passion and leadership. Here's our conversation. Hey Massimo, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Good to be here.
How have you been for the last, let's say, 6 months?
Oh, 6 months. God, where have I been? It's been a bit of winter.
Yeah.
I've been good. We've been busy in Tasmania. Winters, you would think we quieten down a little bit, but we actually get busy. Dark Mofo was only last month. I've had a couple of events I've hosted at the Launceston restaurant, Grain, just to kind of keep the momentum going through winter. And now I move on to another event called Meet the Producers, which is in August, end of July. So kind of try and keep ourselves busy for winter so we don't kind of fall into that trap of, it's winter. So yeah, I've been busy, believe it or not.
Did you do anything at the Dark Mofo this year?
Mate, if I do Dark Mofo, my wife will divorce me. I've done, I think I did 4 Dark Mofos in a row, and I loved it. No, look, I went down there and just enjoyed it. There was some fantastic food, and I kind of get a bit of FOMO when I go down there, and then I realise that, it's an incredible amount of work that goes into Dark Mofo. There's the planning and preparation, which is months. There's 2 weeks of prep and getting all the equipment, and then there's the 2 weeks of the event, and then there's 2 weeks of cleaning down.
Yeah.
So, and I think for me, the last time I did it was just before COVID. So it was 2021 was the last one. And back then I used to get all my mates, would fly down from Sydney and we'd do it together, Tiago, and see all the crew. And it was more about us getting together rather than, doing an event just for financial gains. And so everyone's kind of gone off in their own, and they've got kids and businesses, so it's a bit harder to do as well. So getting the band back together is a little bit more organising. Yeah. So I just enjoyed it and took the kids and had fun.
Yeah, nice. It's an honour to have you on the show. Thank you for your time. Would you be able to introduce yourself to the listeners?
Yeah, I'm Massimo Mele. I'm a Tasmanian chef, Italian background. I have look after 2 restaurants in Tasmania, Grain of the Silos in Launceston, which is in the Peppers Silo Hotel, and Pepina Restaurant in Hobart, which is part of the luxury collection. I have got a TV show that I've made called The Chef's Garden, which is on SBS, which is a show basically about introducing everybody to all the fantastic people I work with, and on a day-to-day kind of operation. I've got a big garden, and I look after my family. I've got 3 beautiful kids and a wife, and I try and keep busy.
Nice. Is the garden in your house?
Yeah, so the garden is at home, so it's where we shoot the show. In the interim, the garden gave me an idea about produce and growing and seasonality. When I kind of started the garden, kind of didn't really know too much, and I was just really guessing. Tried to plant corn, that didn't work, plant this, things didn't work. But what that gave me was a real appreciation and understanding what it takes to grow food and the complexities around, whether it's the climate, people you work with, logistics, all these things. So by the time I kind of had a couple of years to kind of learn how to work the garden, I've done it on my own now, and I can understand. So when I sit with farmers, I kind of go, yeah, that's right. That happened to me. I can understand and appreciate and probably understand more, and then teach the chefs about that as well, because that's really, for us, if the wallaby's eating all the kale, which happens, or things like for us, because we source from the farms, and it has to be local, it has to be Tasmanian, we kind of have to be agile.
Yeah.
And so I've learnt to be agile and pass that information on to the guests. We don't have this today, but we've got this. And so that's a real kind of, you know, where when I worked in Sydney, I kind of, you demanded, you got what you wanted, and everyone was like really at your beck and call, and if you wanted something, you found it, and most of the time probably wasn't even in season. And that's something I've learnt the hard way when I moved home. My first dark mofo, I was like, I'm going to do the fried pizza and zucchini dip. And then they're like, but it's June. I'm like, but there's no zucchini in June. And that was my first introduction to time to get back to basics. Right. Yeah, that was 6-7 years ago.
Wow. Yeah.
But I love it. Yeah, I love it.
Nice. I'm not sure if I'm going to put it on the pipeline. I've got a cheeky question for you before we get into the show.
Oh, shit.
We actually worked together at Hugo's Manly back in 2011, 15 years ago. You were the executive chef and I was one of the commies. You were looking after the Hugo's in King's Cross as well. All of them. Do you remember me?
Of course I remember you. You wore that funny hat with the cordon bleu emblem on your jacket. Is that your funny question? As if I don't remember you. What?
No, I mean, like, it's a long... I mean, of course you know me now, but, like, you know...
I do. I remember, the hat and the cordon bleu. There was a few chefs that I remember from back in those days. Yeah. But also, there's a lot that I don't remember. There's, like, some people come and say, they're in the restaurant. They're like, we worked at the Hugo's. I'm like... Shit, I don't remember. But I remember, like, that was, 7 years of, I was 30. I think I turned 30 there, so I was younger than that. 27 when I took the job. And then I kind of got, like, I joined there as a sous chef. And then within a year, everyone got fired or let go or didn't make it. And they're like, you're executive chef? I'm like, fucking what? Like rostering this and that. I was just enjoying being a sous chef and cooking on pasta section. That's all I wanted to do. So it's a lot of chefs went through that restaurant. There's probably a lot of chefs that probably never want to see me again either. That's probably more a funny question. Which chefs do you think don't want to talk to anymore? The ones that were slow.
Yeah.
But look, when you think about, now that I'm 45, I've been in kitchens since I was 10. So that's a long time. And potentially probably been cooking professionally now, at least 25 years, probably more. And I look back at some of those, you look back at the eras, it's like football teams when, their premiership years. And I still look back and think there was a period there at Hugo's where, like, it was unstoppable. Sunday lunch you're doing 1,000 covers, and it was so organised, and the structure we had. I was the flamboyant executive chef. Tiago was the ordering guy, the procurement guy. Euro was the bulldozer who just pushed it forward and drove the prep, and we had a really good work-life balance. I did the lunch, he did the dinner. And that place just worked. And I was really kind of some great chefs who came through, and you went on Arthur's, Loomy, or like the restaurants you worked at after that. Alex Pritchard, he was an apprentice. He was a pain in the ass too. He was also my flatmate. But look at him. He's Bondi. Bondi executive chef, Icebergs, but also has done a phenomenal job. So I think it's for some of the people that I don't remember, which there probably be some, because we went through a lot of staff. It's good to see that there was some chefs that came through and went and did some great things.
Yeah. Speaking of early days, Massimo, I can finally reveal my secret.
Oh no!
You were the very first chef I looked up to and was inspired by. I was trying to imitate how you speak and your hand gestures, watching your TV shows and stuff. Did you have or do you have someone that you look up that you want to become like someone one day?
I think there's lots. I don't know if it's a single person, but I think like for me, it's funny, you go through different stages of your career.
Yeah. Yeah.
And back then it was like, hard and fast, and, it was the Gordon Ramsay days, and kind of that's what it needed to be, and you kind of ruled with an iron fist, and you drove on fear, not fear like as in, wanting to be mean to people, but like as in like let's fucking go.
Yeah,
like it's just, but it worked. And then I kind of moved through that and look at different chefs, and there's certain chefs that I meet now that the people I looked up to, and some are really disappointing, and then some are like, I'm glad, like, because they say you never want to meet your heroes kind of thing. And I've met a few that like are honest enough and authentic enough and remember your name, and I really, for me, there's chefs I've had along the way, but there's also like, I know it's very cliche, but my mother is probably, and my father, like true heroes growing up through hospitality. Gail and Kevin Donovan, for me, were mentors. The way they delivered hospitality to the guests and their staff, I really, really kind of looked up to, and I think that's never changed. There's been chefs, obviously, that I've worked over the years, but now I kind of look at chefs that have got great teams and have great businesses, successful, not the accolades. Alessandro at the moment, Pavoni, like he's got, I've seen him, because we were both Manly, and I remember going to his restaurant years ago, and I said, I think I want to leave Hugo's and open a restaurant. He goes, don't open a restaurant, no, stupid idea. And, but in that 15 years, he's created this pool of alumnites that have kind of left him, but also he's been able to grow, and it seems like he's just always got great people around. I mean, I'm not there, but from what I see. And I kind of think that's probably a great indicator of a good chef / person who's, if he can keep people for 15 years in his business and keep growing. I look at other chefs that are working with produce and staying true to their kind of beliefs, which I think is really important. I think now I've realised that integrity is really important, and you do what you say. And I think people kind of see through all the bullshit, so I think for me, like, looking up to people like that. I mean, I went to Margaret the other day, first time, and Neil Perry's restaurant, and he's another person, always watching him grow and success, and the produce is so important, and the stories are so important, the farmers, and I think that for me is really important. Not because he did it, I just kind of fell into it by being back in Tassie, and kind of started hanging out with all the farmers, and then I realised there's more to this than just, I'm getting the produce, I can get a post about it. They become special relationships. So I think, like, looking at who's doing that and who's really good at it, so it used to be before, like, cool restaurants and what you read about, but now it's like, people that are doing it for a long time and have got really good businesses over a long period of time and consistently giving great hospitality and great food. I think they're the people I look up to. Right. And they're the values and they're the skill sets that I want to have, And you talk about Hugo's, like, I mean, I think you're being very kind, but I was a crazy fucker back then. Like, I don't know if I want people to look up to me, because
at that time.
Because there was a time, I was also wasn't equipped with the right skills to manage 30 people. I didn't have enough experience to do that, and so I was kind of doing it all on my own, and I probably wasn't doing it very well, but it was all about the food, I mean, that's probably nothing's changed about that. For me, it's still always about the food, and the experience. But I also love the service, and I think, like, back then I kind of, I just thought that the rock and roll was kind of it, but now I realise that I've got big teams, and, I don't always get it right, but I try really hard at how do I be a better leader, how do I communicate better, how can I be more structured, because the way I've always worked, and, you come in and there's your mise en place, and, you know, I can just do it in my head. It doesn't work like that anymore. So now I've got to be much more structured, a bit more organised, and give a bit more time to people, like talking through recipes, and because consistency is key in any business. I think. I mean, obviously it's got to be great food, great hospitality, but you've got to do that consistently. So for me, it's about being consistently good, not occasionally great. So that's kind of where I'm going, you know, with that, and how do you do that as a leader, and nurture the people around you is not something we always grew up with.
Yeah.
No one ever did that back in my day. So yeah.
But I feel like sometimes you need a bit of a balance, you know. Sometimes you need to kick their ass a little bit.
Yeah,
like,
but I don't have to convince you. But it's learning how to do that, you know. And I think now the team, we've got a good team at the moment. Like, we've been training them, and I think they can understand the difference between me pushing and someone being rude. You know, like I in service I push.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like service time is service time, and I think like. You can't go in there and it's like, oh, all right, well, come on, guys, let's come up on this table. It's like, no, let's get this food up. Let's not fuck about. You know, there's still a part of our craft that you need to execute. Now, when I say stuff like that, it's not like you're being mean to someone. It's like we're pushing. Because this place here, we'll do, you know, 180 covers, 200 covers. Like, it's busy, and so that sense of urgency is there. So I think. Your job as the chef in there is still you're still conducting the service. You're still setting the momentum, the you know how fast we're going. And I think I'm just learning to do that in lots of different ways. But I think you're right. You don't have to convince me twice. Don't worry. It's still a bit of you need 50-50.
Yeah. They're finding that right balance. I don't know. I'm still figuring things out, and then, you know, sometimes I finish my shift and maybe I shouldn't have done that, or I should have done that.
I do that all the time.
Yeah, still like after.
Yeah, I still do it.
Yeah,
I still, you know, most of our chefs suffer from imposter syndrome sometimes. I reckon. I'm always scared that like I'm afraid to fail. Like that's probably been a thing that it's affected me in my life. Is you're so scared of failing, or when everything's going really well, you're just waiting for it to fuck up. That's something that I've had to deal with. Whether it's the pressure I set on myself, you know, it's like when I opened this restaurant, I wasn't really I wanted to open the restaurant, but it was going to be really. I wasn't 100% in at that time yet. You know what I mean? It was delayed for 2 years, and then once we opened it, once we got closer and closer, I started to get a real kind of, there was a lot of unfinished business I had in Sydney. And so this restaurant was for me like a real opportunity to kind of show what I can do and what you know, the unfinished business that I had. And, you know, so I created the name, the concept. I worked on it for a long, long time. In that process, I really started to fall in love with it as well, like more so than just a transactional opportunity. And then we opened, and the place was pumping. Like ridiculous, and no one had ever seen a restaurant this size in Hobart. It's pretty, you know, for the population. And then the accolades started coming. So all those things really, not that I was looking for any of that. I wasn't worried about being awarded any. I didn't even care. I was over all that. But then it started to happen, and then I was like, I was hooked. Do you know what I mean? Not hooked on the awards, but like we got, you know, best new restaurant, and I was invited to Gourmet Traveller, and I hadn't been in Gourmet Traveller since I did something 10 years before. So for me, it was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And then we you know, we got the best in Tassie, next to some fantastic restaurants. I was like, shit, really? Like, wow, okay. And so yeah, so that passion probably turned into a bit of obsession for the last 3 years. But I've still got it. You know, like that's. Once you're in this industry, once you kind of, you know, you either love it or you don't. And the ones who are still in it, they love it. And I think I just need to do it in a different way now, so I can get that balance, so it's healthy. Because that's what's probably a little bit, you know, things have changed a bit. But as much as you have your hard days in our industry, there's little snippets that you get that kind of give you a little bit of hope, or they give you a little pat on the back, and they're the ones I'm looking for. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Have you ever regretted that you became a chef?
Nah.
Ever?
Nah.
Not even your when you had really, really bad service or like hardest day or something like that?
Nah. I regretted it when I was living in London, and my friends were going to the French Alps every weekend because they were bankers, and I was getting £7 an hour working as a head chef in Clapham.
Yeah.
I regretted it then, trust me. No, because I've done. No, I don't regret it. I've travelled the world. I've done, like, the podcast is not long enough to go through all the wonderful events I've been able to do around the world. You know, New York, LA, Italy. You know, I've been really, really lucky. Thailand, Korea. I took over a restaurant in Korea. You know, so no, I don't regret it. It's how I met my wife. You know, the only thing that is hard that I guess I've noticed is, you know, with losing a parent, I guess for now is like the sacrifice away from family. Like that's, you know, 20 years away from my family is a long time. So I kind of left in 98 and I came back in 2016. So it was a good chunk of time away from family. So that's probably my only kind of, you know, I don't regret it, but I would have loved to have spent more time with them. But I think for me, like the success that I've had and the people I've met, you know, and the restaurants I've been part of, you know, it kind of makes you who you are, and I'm pretty proud of it.
Awesome. Now I want to fast forward a bit to your move back to Tasmania. You've spent over a decade in Sydney, became pretty well known, doing heaps of like food events, TV shows and all that. It seemed like you were pretty settled there. Like why? How? Like what made you to come back here?
My wife made me do it. No. Yeah, I was settled.